the commitment that we're proposing in House Bill 1 is over half of the total increase in spending between the House and the Senate, over half. It reflects our priorities, and fairness would dictate that under the circumstances, is the glass 3/4 full or is it 1/4 empty? And I'm arguing it's 3/4 full, and our schools will be able to make it if you'll vote for this budget.
And Senator, I appreciate that. It's just that the two school districts that I represent each take $50 million a year less than they do last year under the scenarios that we would meet the constraint.
Can you tell me what those, give me an example, because I've got a printout here.
North side, either $28 or $32 per student. And this is under the hybrid model that is under Senate Bill 22, which is not before us, but which you have said needs to pass.
And I should know this. Tell me your Senate district number.
My Senate district is 26, okay. And it's North Side Independent School District, which will receive $50 million less than last legislative session because we're taking out $4 billion with what they need. And it's a fast growth district that adds 3,000 students per year. Both Northeast School District and North Side will each have a reduction of somewhere between 428, and I think one's 428, the other one's around 432. And these are the areas that are fast growth, and so
and I've seen it, and I don't dispute that number. It says that under our proposal, Northside would receive out of a total revenue of $661 million, 0.6 of $1 billion, $50 million less, which represents a 7.6% reduction. However, if we vote for the House bill, Senator, it's $71 million.
And that's correct. And 704 pink slips were given 2 weeks ago, not based on the House plan, but based on the Senate plan. And so I cannot go back home and say, guess what? We are funding enrollment growth, and you are getting what you need. If they did, my school district wouldn't have given those 704 pink slips that were based on our version of the budget, not the House's version of the budget, because guess what? They have faith in us. They have faith that we're going to pass the Senate version. But they had to already do that. They already are making plans for, and so whether it's enrollment growth or not, we have always funded enrollment growth in this state. And just because we say we're going to take $4 billion out and that's the new normal, that's the new way that we're going to get rid of this structural, is still not being fair to the taxpayers and to the taxpayers who have to fund the property taxes because the in their belt. Well, my school district decided to tighten its belt by firing 704 teachers in positions. And I got to tell you, they had done administratively 138 back in October. So this is on top of the 138. So I mean, that's just an example from my school district. I don't doubt that you have tried and that Senator Shapiro has tried. And I'm going to tell you, if we had more money, I know this Senate would put this into public schools and that we would come up with that because it is our most important. I don't have any other questions, Senator. I know that there are probably others that are going to kind of question the method of finance. But goodness, if these people are coming to our state, then let's admit that their children are here and try with whatever that we can, because these children and the people, they didn't create this hole. It was created back when we didn't make very good, those decisions in 2006 have come back to haunt us. And we're doing, I know you're doing in your efforts and what you filed to get us through what the decisions in 2006 that put us in this. And it was hardened by the recession. But, Senator, I cannot be honest by saying that this Senate budget takes care of public schools. It takes care of them much better than the House, but it still is painful, and it will affect all sorts of class sizes in those neighborhood schools, and those parents move there because it's a great school district. It's a recognized school district. And they made the tough choices, but I can't tell them, oh, we're funding you, when you take $50 million a year out of the budget from last year. I can't deceive them that way.
And, I'm not sure we're going to agree. In fact, I'm sure we're not going to agree. What I'm arguing is that if we take the position after coming out of the kind of recession that we'd experienced, that nobody can cut anything, that there are no efficiencies to be found anywhere, then we're not any different than Washington, D.C., which is bankrupting our country. Now, I don't like doing this, but it's better to do this than the alternatives that we're facing. And if the economy continues to grow like it looks like it is, then we'll be able to restore a lot of this in 2 years. Texas is not broke. It's got a temporary cash flow problem that will solve itself when the economy recovers. But in my opinion, we cannot take the position like Washington, D.C., oh, well, why worry? Let's just borrow the money.
No, Senator, we're not borrowing the money for education. But we do have choices. And we know in the atmosphere in the House, we know in many discussions, we wish we had a way to bring in more revenue because our infrastructure for education for students merits that, they deserve that, and our families deserve it. But we are borrowing in your bill. We're borrowing, $3 billion on Proposition 12. So we are using that. We're borrowing for highways. We're not borrowing for our kids. And maybe that's, it's the priorities that we have.
Sure we are. I mean, we use the permanent school fund to guarantee billions and billions and billions of bonds. I mean, the permanent school fund is one of the great assets in Texas. It gives every school district a AAA rating. Every school district that I know of has voter approval to borrow money. I probably misspoke about the federal government. They're not borrowing. They're printing it. Oh, well, we'll just print the money. But anyway.
I appreciate that. And believe me, we're not like the federal government. And if we did, maybe if people take out their cash money, we wouldn't have George Washington and Lincoln. We'd have Sam Houston and Navarro and De Zavala on it. We don't print our money. I appreciate the work that you've done in this, Senator. I just have heartache that this will be the first time since we've had that Gilmer-Aikens. It's the first time in over 60 years that we've got to tell our schools, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.